Welcome back, everyone. So as you can see by the title, this is going to be about DNPs of Color. My name is Dr. Kimberly Madison. I'm a doctorally prepared nurse practitioner, and this is my Vlogmas series where I get this channel off the ground and talk about a different topic every time I come back. So this is actually take 2 because I filmed this episode already, but then when I went and watched it back, all I could hear was the puppy in the background chewing his bone. And so if you watch that video, especially in its entirety, I thank you. And so this is, I just wanted to do it justice and just repeat that. So once this gets uploaded, I'll bring that one down. Previously, I talked about DNPs of Color as well as my new compounded medications for my melasma and hyperpigmentation. I'm going to split these videos up just because I think when people see something in the title, that's what they expect for you to talk about, even though it's Vlogmas, and Vlogmas is kind of a mishmash of everything that's going on in your day. I think it's better just to split it up. So today we're going to talk about DNPs of Color. It is a nursing organization, and it was started by Dr. Danielle McCamey. And so I came to find out about it during NP school. We had just had a lecture on this initiative to get more DNPs and PhD trained nurses working together. And the hospital I was working at had a newsletter, and in the newsletter was a section on this collaborative group. I don't know how new it was, but I went to the website, I contacted the contact person, and then she emailed me back, and that she was Danielle McCamey. And so Dr. Danielle McCamey. And so I emailed her, got on the list, and all the meetings were always on a Tuesday. And my sweet schedule at that time was Sunday to Tuesday nights, so I couldn't make any of the meetings. But I did continue to receive those emails. And so I Googled her, saw she was a Black woman. I also saw that she was associated with this organization, DNPs of Color. Started following them on Instagram, went and checked out the website to see what they have to offer, see what I could offer. And then I was looking for membership. And so I emailed her, and I wanted to see if I could find that email too, to see if they had a membership. And she said no, but it was something that they were working on. And so this was back in 2019. If you've listened to any of my other videos, you know that I did graduate. I was in the BSN to DNP program part-time, so that was 6 years. And halfway through, I found out I was going to graduate with my master's, which was in 2019. I did graduate and then started the DNP program 2 weeks later. And I didn't know I was going to graduate, so I really didn't have any plans. So see, I started filming this once he took a nap, but the phone fell, so now he's over here. So we'll see how this goes. But so I didn't know I was going to graduate, wasn't prepared to transition, find a new job or anything like that. And at the time that you're watching this, I have been in my first NP job for 2 months. And I am so grateful that I made that decision because of the experience I'm having now. There's no way I could have managed both being a new doctoral student and a new NP at the same time. And I had other colleagues who had started, and so I was listening to their transition as well. So I kind of had some ideas, and that a lot of contributing factors went into that decision. So even though I wasn't going to transition, I still wanted to be involved. And so right before around the same time that I contacted Danielle, I also learned about the Nurse Practitioner Association of DC, and that they were looking for a student rep for the board. And so I applied for that, or signed up, and I did get that. And so I did that, and then I started volunteering on the program committee for DNPs of Color. And kind of the two things that I did the programming committee, and two of the biggest programs we worked on were the virtual commencement, which we do twice a year, in the summer and in the winter. At the time of this filming, we just had our winter commencement last weekend. And even I participated last year when I graduated. Bless you. From the DNP program. And yeah, so the virtual commencement, also our conference. So at the time I started was was right before COVID, or yeah, right around that time. So the conference was virtual, and we spent a lot of time doing that. We used to meet pretty regularly, and I really, really loved meeting with everyone. And I got to learn learn about Danielle a lot, and get to know her personally. And I told her, I always look at her as like a big sister, and I find what she's doing so inspiring. And so I would work. So yeah, we worked on the virtual commencement and the virtual conference. The conference started to be in person last year, and then again this year in October. And in 2024, we're going to Philadelphia in October. I'll put the link to DNPs of Color in the description box so that you can see that. And actually, while we're talking, maybe I can find the dates for you. I might have put it in my calendar already. So yeah, this year it was at, let me make sure I get this right. Last year it was in Baltimore at a museum, and this year it was at the Indian Smithsonian here in DC. And like I said, next year we're going to Philadelphia. I thought I had put this in my phone already. But you'll see, when you go click on it, you'll see. But yeah, so those are those. And so I actually stepped down from that committee this year so that I could join the research committee. And one of the big things that we're doing over there is helping to he was napping before this. Oh, there it is, October 17th to the 20th, 2024 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And so yeah, we're working on for the research committee, one of the biggest things we're working on is the Journal of DNPs of Color. Super excited about that. If that's something you're interested in and you certainly want to be a part of that, you can just visit the website and contact us that way. So that's that part. I do want to go over a few things, and I don't want to mess them up, so I have it here. So I want to go over the mission is to serve DNPs of color through networking, mentorship, and advocacy to increase diversity in doctoral studies, clinical practice, and leadership. Our vision is to inspire, empower, and transform the landscape of nursing by increasing diversity in doctoral nursing practice. Our objectives are to create opportunities for engagement in academia, research, and clinical practice, to advocate for educational support of DNPs of color, and to serve as mentors and guide nurses of color to pursue Doctor of Nursing practice studies. And so while there's a lot of emphasis on nurses pursuing their doctorate, everyone has a seat at the table. That's one of the little kind of slogans that we have. And so everyone's welcomed. So like I said, when we have our conferences, we have podium presentations, and we have different people come on and speak, and not everyone who participates at that level or as members. I've seen people who are CNAs. We certainly have PhD trained nurses as well, but everyone's welcome at the table. When you go and you see membership, I think there's an opportunity for people of various backgrounds to join, and so you can check that out. We'd love to have you. Let's see. So what else? So we have a brochure on the website, which I saw the other day when I filmed this the first time, and I just wanted to go over all the different committees that we have. And if you're interested in seeing this in person, it's when you go to the website, it's going to be the brochure. And so we have 7 board of directors, and I believe we just installed a new set this year, I want to say. 13 advisory committee members and 6 committees. So I've already talked about programming and research. And then there's anti-racism and DEI and advocacy in nursing, DEI being diversity, equity, and inclusion. There's the finance committee, governance, and social media and marketing, which I think is really exciting. And like I mentioned the first time, it's really interesting because, a lot of these organizations are run by volunteer hours of members, and a lot of them want to scale and modernize. And it's not that and a lot of the times they're not able to do that just because of the lack of human resource. And so that's one way you can contribute. And so I recently wrote an article on the Mahogany Dermatology blog on how to, like a strategy for attending your first or next dermatology conference. And in that, I mentioned one of the benefits of joining organizations. And a lot of times they'll list what all the benefits are. Okay, wait, now I'm going. So social media. So one of the ways you can contribute to organizations isn't just like your clinical or expertise or academic background. It can also be things that you're just really interested in, like social media or marketing or things you want to learn. You can take over their social media page for them. When people are interested in being mentees, I say, think about what you can bring to that relationship. And social media is one of them. I think for the most part, people recognize that social media is a valuable and important tool to have for their clinical, especially if they have a practice, but also just to increase awareness and increase patient education. And while everyone might understand that, and there certainly are still some mixed messages out there when it comes to social media, especially a lot of negative messages, and there's also some areas to be concerned about, understandably, especially if you're in clinical practice. But when people do recognize its value, sometimes it's just a matter of they just don't have the time to invest, and it does require some time, as I can attest to. And so that would be an area where you can bring a lot of value, because you'll be exposed to the field, to the information, to the research, to people who are prominent leaders, trends, and you're going to be receiving a lot just through that relationship of whoever you're working with to run that account. And so it's been very beneficial for me. I've learned a lot. And so it's something I always tell people looking for mentorship is think about what you can contribute to that relationship. And that's one thing you can do, particularly if it's something you kind of do in your personal life. This is a way you can translate it professionally that's actually going to really help an organization or even a practice scale and grow. And so that's one thing. So yeah, so that was social media. So yeah, another thing I mentioned or talk about, oftentimes in nursing, we're always told the importance of mentorship. And I often say we're told that it's really important, but the person telling us we need it doesn't tell us how to get it, what it should entail, and they typically don't offer themselves. And so every time I have this little get on my soapbox, I always mention, I'm open for mentorship. And if I'm not available to do so, I'll help you find someone who is. And so nowadays people are charging for access to them, their knowledge, their expertise, their network, and being a part of organizations is a great way to get access to a lot of people. So while you might have a membership fee to pay, let's say it's a one-time, say it's that annual fee of, let's just say for instance it's $100. But you're getting access to everyone in the organization, as opposed to, I know there are people charging, like hundreds of dollars just to talk to them on the phone for 30 minutes. And that's a one-time. And so think about all you're going to get from that membership fee. A lot of times organizations will list the benefits of membership, but that's one thing that's not often on there. It might be like a blanket plain mentorship option, but then you don't get to see, it's not elaborated on like this, like I'm explaining now. Hold on. We have puppy problems. Okay, we're back. So yeah, I think that's about sums it up. I listened to my first video trying to make sure I cover everything again in here. And so right now, remember when I first found out about DNPs of Color, I contacted Dr. McCamey to find out if they had mentorship or membership. And now we're in December 2023, and we're actually in the middle of our initial membership. And so between now and up until Martin Luther King Day, the goal is to get the first 500 members on board. And after Martin Luther King Day, the price will go up. So today's price is not tomorrow's price. So certainly if you're watching this and you're within that window, I encourage you to take advantage of this opportunity. As I mentioned, everyone is welcomed to have a seat at the table with us. There's lots of opportunities for you to participate. Always open to hearing any ideas you may have. Certainly, think you're gonna get a lot out of it. So we have a private Facebook page, and we have a private like portal for members. It's a great opportunity and avenue for communication and networking. And I found that, because I was talking about mentorship, that, you know, people, when you join these organizations, you get access to people, you get their phone number, their email, you can talk to them. And I haven't found people are shy about sharing their expertise or their time, you know, within reason, of course. But yeah, I've gained a lot from being part of organizations, and I spend a lot of time these days thinking about my legacy, and one way to do that is by partnering, especially if you and that organization have similar interests and have a shared mission and vision in mind. It's a great way to carry out whatever contributions you want to make to the field and to clinical practice overall. So those are just some things to think about. And so I just wanted to come in here and talk about DNPs of Color during this Vlogmas, as it's an organization that I am a member of proudly, and I can't wait to share more with you on what we're able to do in the research committee. And I think that's all I have for now. So since this is a take 2, I'm going to upload this and take down the old one. I'll do a separate video on my melasma and hyperpigmentation journey, since I've now had a few days to get to use my new products. I can come and talk about kind of my first impression with that. And then I have some footage that I took over Christmas. And yeah, so we'll pick up where we left off there. And then I'll talk about, you know, through this Vlogmas, I've been talking about my experience vlogging with my equipment. But also I just want to kind of talk about like the whole social media aspect of it. It's something that I talk about often. So look out for that. And again, if you watched the first one, I thank you for watching and listening despite the background noise, which, by the way, iMovie has a remove background noise feature. And I would argue to say it's not that great because I could still hear him. And it's funny because when I watched it on my computer, when I turned that feature up to reduce the background noise, it sounded really good. That's why I even posted it. But then when I watched back on YouTube, it's like it wasn't even on. And I did have some upload problems. So I don't know if in the middle of like uploading it multiple times, something happened there. So I don't know. But otherwise, I have loved iMovie. And so I still recommend it. I still think it's a great software for, especially if you're new to this vlogging game or just uploading videos, even if you're not a vlogger. So yeah, that's my little update for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.